New tonight, Union County Sheriff Billy Breeding is under investigation again. Last summer, we reported his deputies cheated on a state-mandated online test and received taxpayer money for passing. Separately, a prosecutor is looking into whether Sheriff Breeding had sex in his car this year with a female deputy. In February, we asked whether a Maynardville police officer caught him doing it. And now the state commission that certifies cops wants to hear from the sheriff again. The state says he failed to follow the terms of his discipline from the cheating case. Well,
the Post Commission could revoke Breeding's ability to serve as sheriff. 10 News investigative reporter Cole Sullivan joins us with his response. Cole.
Robin John, a lawyer for the sheriff and his chief deputy, say they did not break that deal and plan to prove it to the state commission. If they don't, they could leave taxpayers with a bill for a special election. This time, the Union County Sheriff could lose his badge. The Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission says Billy Breeding didn't stick to the deal he made after he admitted he knew his deputies cheated on a state test. A report from the state comptroller shows when deputies got questions wrong, the Union County Chief Deputy confessed he'd reset the assessment multiple times until they got it right. The training company says the test typically takes between 5 and 10 minutes, but the sheriff and most of his deputies finished it in less than 60 seconds. Last June, Breeding and his chief deputy, Brian Smith, made a deal. Breeding would serve 2 years probation, the state would suspend Smith's certification for 6 months, and the department will get a different agency to oversee its training. But now the Post Commission says Smith remained on the job, and Breeding failed to work with another county to modernize training.
I think Post has to send a message.
Defense attorney T. Scott Jones says if Post wants to be taken seriously, now is the time.
I think that we're going to see a pretty harsh ruling from Post.
If the commission revokes Breeding's certification, Jones says he can't legally serve as sheriff.
We would be looking at an interim sheriff, and we would be looking at the great taxpayer expense of a special election.
Attorney Richard Gaines says Smith and Breeding did not violate the agreed order, are in full compliance, and believe next month's hearing will bear that out. The lawyer went on to say that Post, quote, doesn't want to listen to the sheriff's perspective. He says Smith worked in an administrative role during his suspension, and they have a new training officer and a new video training program. Robin and John, Sheriff Billy Breeding is running for re-election this summer.
Cole Sullivan with the update. Thank you.